Hi, this is Scott Ware with Radiance Magazine. I'm the publisher and editor. You can find it at radiancemagazine.org and at 660 locations in print in Southern California. And I have with me two special guests today. They're the owners of Anu Alchemy, have Swaha Ron and Tison Lu. Say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
It's great to have you here. And now the product, now you're out at a lot of the fairs, at a lot of the events with some very interesting products that you offer people that, needless to say, they're more than just skin deep. They penetrate the person very deeply with a lot of healing properties. And the name of your company is Anu Alchemy, which can be found at anualchemy.com, A-N-U, and then the word alchemy. Can you talk about what these products are and where alchemy comes into it?
You want to start? Okay. All right, so where did it begin? It began on a heartfelt journey to find healing and healers. And my first wife was sent home to die in 1986. And I went anywhere in the world to study with people that knew something about healing, about laying on of hands, about faith, about energy medicine, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
You were going to the four corners of the earth looking for a cure for her.
That's right. Been to India 18 times, been to China 4 or 5 times, been to Brazil, been to Egypt, been to Israel, all over the US, all over Europe. And Linda lived 30 years longer than the doctor said was possible. So as I went and studied with all these different kinds of healers, Reiki, laying on of hands, therapeutic touch, Qigong, yoga, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, something started happening to me just outside of my awareness.
Okay.
And you know, it was very, very interesting. I kissed a lot of frogs. Are you turning it off? Oh. I kissed a lot of frogs. I spent an enormous amount of money, probably invested $1 million. And, you know, healing happened. Don't know exactly which one it was. Linda's doctors at UCLA said, Linda, we don't know why you're in as good a shape as you are with stage 4 cirrhosis of the liver, confirmed by 2, I forget what they call it. They go in and pull out a piece of the liver and then analyze it.
Yeah, biopsies.
Yeah, biopsies. And so they said, whatever you're doing, keep it up. So, you know, I would lay hands on Linda. Eventually, I started giving her the energetic medicine and the oils that came to me in my travels. Say something?
Keep going.
All right, so the energetic medicines in India for years and years and years and years, I heard these stories about a rejuvenation called Kaya Kalpa, in which these yogis, after years and years and years of spiritual practice, either are guided to, or in some cases given these herbs, and they go into a cave, and 3 months later they walk out looking 50 years younger physically.
Okay.
Huge rejuvenation takes place. Their hair falls out, their fingernails, their, you know, everything falls off, and then it, like a time-lapse camera, it just all reconstitutes. And I've heard this and read about this, and so I've been looking for, what is this formula? How does this work? And it's more than just herbs. It is the result of the herbs being infused with energy or a blessing from somebody that not only knows that, has gone through it, and can infuse the herbs or the formula with an understanding, an energy, a blessing that ignites the herbs for a person.
And that's something that you do. You bring this forth, but you have a number of different techniques. I know that for your product to infuse it with these energies. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So one of the medicines we brought back from India is called Navapasanam, 9 poisons. And the 9 poisons are a formula that is of hundreds, if not thousands of herbs and minerals that are cooked together. And at some point, a final ingredient is added that turns the semi-liquid herbal mush into a stone-like substance. And I have beads made from this formula of Navapasanam that I got in India from the immortal Siddha Bogar. And Bogar is Babaji's teacher. And this Navapasanam we use to dip into the water that we collect the Ormus in. So the Ormus is a rejuvenating substance, and Navapasanam energized water is a rejuvenating substance. On the Anu Alchemy, on the Discerning-Wisdom website, there's a button called Navapasanam, and in there there's a report called Ongoing Reports with hundreds and hundreds of reports from people that have just taken the Navapasanam and what happened to them. It's really quite interesting, and no one person's experience is the same. They all have some sort of awakening, healing, awareness that comes through to them, and yet it's consistent with their particular karma, their particular practice, their particular stage of awakening.
Okay, I want to take a step back for a moment. You actually, and you know how you're dressed, some people might think you've always dressed that way and presented, but you owned an insurance company and still have ownership in a mental health insurance company in the San Fernando Valley. You've been a business person for a number of years. I'm guessing that in your journeying across the globe to find the cure for your ex-wife, it spiritualized you, I assume. Is that accurate?
I would say so, that my dress is sort of what I ended up wearing when I was particularly in India.
Yeah.
And at some point, I just felt like, this is just what I wanted to wear all the time, except when I meet with, some of my corporate clients, like the gas company or the various law enforcement agencies and, banks. I have to wear a business attire
Sure.
in order to, interact with them in a way in which they're comfortable.
But your journey transformed you in what you learned and in your spiritual practice when you got into all these healing modalities. It had some effect on you personally.
Yeah,
Do you
sure.
agree?
I think that it really awakened my purpose in life. I think that the healing from the mental health and drug and alcohol perspective, when I was in my 20s, I was lost in the 60s very, very, very badly. And anything that you've heard about that happened in the 60s, I did. And, it started off as partying and it ended up as hell. And, at the end, I weighed 160 pounds and hadn't eaten in weeks. And so when the magic started happening and the healing products and energy started coming, one of them was a product that we call a plasma. And I would get this from a most unusual source, and I would call up my closest friends and say, listen, here's a new one. Can you come out and try this? Why don't we figure out what this does? And
Right.
Tison was one of them.
Yeah.
You want to share something?
Yeah, Tison, I was going to ask you, because I've seen you at some of the events you guys have been at, and you're an energy healer. You're going around, and I assume that's in complementing the Ormus or the other products you have.
Right. So yeah, and when I first tried the energetic medicine, it was very interesting, and I mean, it doesn't, logically speaking, it's hard to believe. You just put like a little drop. It's external use only. You put on your any chakra that you want, and you close your eyes and, you know, just feel the energy of that drop. And I had a journey. You know, I have different sensation, and I went really very, very deep of my meditative state, and have different visions. And the most amazing thing is different medicine has like different results. So because we were spiritual brother and sister before we got together, and we also had some past life relationship before.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So therefore, because of all these together, and in the past, that when we had that availability show up to us, it seems like it's a divine arrangement. We both are just together. The interesting thing was when we travel together, and we have different roles in terms of our medicine. So behind the scene, I'm more like a person that encourage us to anchor in that location and wait. Probably because of my background, cultural background, I tend to have more patience. So, and because of that, some amazing download or substance will just get offered to us without us going anywhere to try hard to find it.
You attracted it.
Yeah, we attracted it, and also, you know, there's some timing. It's kind of like, you know, you need to wait until a certain time, then things will show up.
Yes.
Instead of just keep traveling to different places. It's very busy and running around. So I usually is that person who just, okay, let's sit here and wait for it, and then he will get a download. And then he will come back to LA and do the work, whatever that he was told.
And by download, you mean basically you're channeling information from the universe, and it's helping determine how these products will be created, because you have many products. In fact, if we can talk about the animal totem products.
Okay, the animal totems are the particular energies and gifts of the various animals. You know, like, you know, bear and deer and white buffalo and
Dragonfly.
yeah, and dragonfly is a part of the insect category. And the insects are very, very interesting because they'll bring up the shadow. So, for instance, mosquito. If you anoint yourself with mosquito and go into a deep meditative state, chances are that you will notice and or come face to face with what or who or what situation is sucking the blood out of your life. That's what mosquito does.
And so the obvious question would be, and I know you've been asked this, how do you get mosquito essence into your product?
Well, it is a journey that started in India, and the energetic medicine of India and the Navapassanam. And when we went to Egypt, we have a friend that's a 5th generation essential oil master, and he anointed me with something that reveals the nature of a thing.
Mm.
And I immediately had an experience of all of the oil in his shop. And there was one canister of oil, one jar of oil that was separate, and it was dark. And I knew that somebody gave him that, and it was really black magic, and they were jealous of him and wanted to harm him. And afterwards I said, you got one canister, one jar that was given to you that you've never touched. Why is it still in your shop? He looked at me. He goes, you're right. I said, get it out of your shop. Throw that away. Go bury that somewhere. And then there's the Southwest shaman savvy that awakened in me. So the essences are a combination of, I would say, 3 cultural, energetic knowingness that come together in the essences. So there's the animals, there's the insects, there is from the sea, there's trees, there's flowers. What else is there? There's magical.
Magical. So if someone goes to your website and they want to order some of these and they're thinking, I'm feeling the tiger, I'm feeling the oak tree, or what questions should they ask themselves before they decide which ones to order from anualchemy.com?
Well, if they have some sort of an idea of tiger or oak tree, they go to the website, click on that particular essence, and it brings up an energetic description of that particular essence. Or if they don't know, they can go click on the animal category and sort of scroll through and stop on the one like white buffalo or deer or porcupine or whatever, and read it and see if that resonates with them.
And also they can find out if they have any animal totem or like any animals or species show up in their dream. Or if there's any, species just keep showing up. Like when I meditate in the wood, all the time have bees fly around me. So, like some sign will show up in their life and then just look it up. And quite often it is telling them something.
It's interesting when I've seen you at festivals and you have all these vials out of all these different animal totems and you have the Ormus also, and just seeing the effects of people when they put it on their skin, and you ask them, what do they feel called? Which one do they feel called to apply? Can you talk about some of the testimonies you have of what people have said? I mean, there's some on your website, but what are these experiences people have when they put this liquid that is, it sort of feels like oil, maybe has a little bit of a smell, but it just has all these energetic properties. What are some of the reactions people have had?
Well, there's so many different testimony. I remember a friend of us put Condo Man on, and he had a journey. He was closing his eyes for like about 10-15 minutes. He couldn't come out.
Oh.
And then when he came out, he was like just completely awed and surprised and just stunned. Like he was, oh my God, you couldn't believe what just happened to me. So he was telling me the whole journey that when he was in Peru in the past life.
Okay.
So
that sounds like a plant medicine journey almost.
Yeah, actually, we went to festival that many young kids like to try our medicine. And many of them constantly gave us the feedback and said, oh my God, I just had this journey just like when I had plant medicine or ayahuasca. And then we usually will tell them, oh my God, isn't it better in a way because it's clean? It's just easy, and you don't need to go through all this vomiting or like sit in the wood for hours. And it's just clean and easy to use. And you can just tune in with the higher being and, you know, go back to your past life or anything that happens for your highest good.
Yes, I can tell you, I also felt some things. You were in a tent and there were people sitting or lying down and they were listening to you talk, and you were passing around some things very generously. You were giving out quite a bit. And I don't remember exactly what I said, but I remember it was poetically elegant in a way because it just inspired that in me, what I was seeing and feeling. And I've not always been that kind of person, but I've slowly been becoming more open to these things. If not just because of plant medicine, but and yeah, your products are amazing. There's so much to explore there. There's so many things. So yeah, if people watching this, if they're interested, I recommend what would you recommend maybe as a starter, or just they should just feel their way through the animal totems, right? Which ones appear in their dreams, and like you said.
They can do the animal totems. They can also start with the first plasma that ever came, and that's the blue plasma, which prepares one and cleanses and prepares. So the blue plasma, I think, was the first medicine in the besides the Ormus that came. And then after, I don't know, some time, a year or so, the essences started coming. And then in India, the guidance from, it isn't just channeling from somewhere. The Siddha medicines really was inspired by an immortal Siddha by the name of Maya Ma. She lived 380 some odd years before she dissolved into light, like Jesus and Elijah and Ezekiel. And we were sitting in her little temple where that event took place. And, I heard Maya Ma say to me, bring 2 kilos of vibhuti, which is holy ash, to the north. Well, how did she know that we were flying to northern India in 2 days? So I know how to follow instructions. So I got 2 kilos of vibhuti and brought it to the north, to this temple we were going to. And I said to the priest, and he knew Maya Ma because he grew up near Salem, that she said to bring the vibhuti. And I said, I think we're supposed to do something with it here. So it isn't always just me that is, like coming up with this. It's a community type of thing. So the priest said, I know what to do. So we did this abhishekam, or ceremony, with the vibhuti, and then he gave me back half of it. And as it hit my hand, this whole awareness of making the Siddha medicine just downloaded to me from this ceremony.
Ah, okay, I see.
So I would say start with the blue plasma and protection. I think you gave one of your friends a little drop of the protection, a very psychic guy or something in Long Beach, maybe?
At a store.
At a store, and he said something like Michael the Archangel, right?
Yes, that was my friend Jerry Yusko, yes.
And when I anoint people with the protection plasma, psychically I can see Michael the Archangel's wings cocooning the person. That's how it first came. That's the way it is every time I anoint somebody. That was very, very cool that he confirmed, from his experience, that it is Michael the Archangel.
Exactly. Yeah, that is amazing. And so I didn't know the whole story. Now I do. So it's very interesting the way it's come. You did download some information, but you had to follow some steps. You were working with these healing compounds or these elements, putting them together. It's fascinating. You've done a lot of work, and now they come in just these clean little, cute little vials that sort of don't tell the whole story until you actually apply it to yourself. And if you're sensitive enough, I imagine some people don't feel anything or it takes them a while. Have you had that experience?
Yeah, some people like, you know, it's sort of a delayed reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that they're either, you know, too intently looking for something rather than relaxing and then just becoming aware of what's there. You know,
That's a good point. Yeah.
Too much doubt about how can this do anything, or too much ego that, you know, I've done a whole lot, you know, and what is this going to do for me? Very subtly, though. So, yeah.
So just come with an open mind and open heart and just see what happens, which is, I mean, that's a good meditation practice as well, rather than trying to force something. But yeah, I can see why that would be a better way to go when you're applying it.
Exactly. Exactly.
What else would you like people to know about your products, or about why you're doing this, why you're bringing it out to the world?
Well, for example, for Ormus is a very ancient alchemy that has been helping both of us individually in health, in our skin, in our gums. So we got lots of benefits from it. So we feel that we should share. In fact, we have been sharing Ormus in our spiritual community for a long time. So when we got together, when we look at, you know, all the products that we have in our mini laboratory, and then we start talking, you know, maybe we need to bring these products, back then probably we have 20, okay, in a bigger scale, and allow more people to experience this. Because many people have been spending a lot of money and searching, for example, having some problem of the skin or anti-aging. So almost, what he's showing is, that is the photo before he used Ormus.
Right, and it's actually had a reverse aging process on you.
Correct.
Right.
So when many people look at this photo, they were just, oh my God, I can't believe this. Let me use this now. So we have seen many, many people when they start using Ormus, like every day in a week, they started to tell us, oh my God, look at my face. I don't have wrinkles anymore. And wherever I go, I got compliments that I have such a beautiful glow. I said, that's great. Keep using it. So this is another photo of a dog that the dog is like 12-year-old.
Okay.
And then the lady, the owners, see the dog like started to slowing down. Is very, very worried, and found us. This is after this dog used Ormus, probably like less than a week. So you can see the dog, even though the gray hair kind of like disappeared. So this is before. You see so much gray hair?
Quite a difference.
Look at the energy, look at the eyes. The dog looks tired.
Yes.
So the owner of the dog was so impressed by how the dog...
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah, how the dog all of a sudden looked like a puppy.
Right.
You know, love to jump, love to play around, and she was very, very impressed by the product.
Yeah, we all wouldn't mind looking more like a puppy again.
Right. Yeah, so that's why we determined, okay, let's do it in a bigger scale. And then the moment when we have this decision, guess what? More information come in. That's why our laboratory like expanding from 20 products to right now we have over 180. Wow.
And I know the prices are very reasonable. They start at about $18 and go up from there. And you know, very reasonable. You might advise people to start with a couple and see what happens.
Exactly, and the products come in 2 milliliters, which is not much. But here's the thing: 1 drop is enough for 12 people. So
okay.
you know, when people pull the little dropper out of the 2 mm bottle, don't squeeze any. Just touch one of your chakras, or just touch your finger and put it on one of your chakras. The tiniest little bit. This is energetic medicine. So once it touches your skin, it just spreads across your entire energy field.
Okay, and for people unfamiliar with the chakras, you're talking about the crown, you're talking about the third eye, you're talking about the throat, the heart, and the others down below, the sacral. So people can look those up when they need to do that. And just the energy, so they just need the smallest amount, just touch the dropper to them, and then it just goes into their whole, not just their body, but their fields.
Yes, yes, that's it. That's it.
Okay.
And then close your eyes and just, you know, go inward for a minute or two or longer.
And just experience.
Just have the experience.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining me here today. And and again, people can go to anualchemy.com.
Correct. ANU alchemy.com.
Okay, and there's some videos on there as well, right, for people to watch to learn more about you?
We have few video, yeah. So I think they can, there's some,
Yeah.
he would be explaining how to use it and all that, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for joining me. This has been very informative, I'm sure, for a lot of people, and I'm sure there's going to be some activity on your website. Thank you again. Namaste.
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 Thank you.
All right, and thank everybody for watching.